Hey man, welcome back to Man Time. Today's episode, I finally got the saw of my dreams. Stihl MS660 at the pawn shop on my way home from work Friday. Let's see if it'll run. Go through some of the first things you want to do with your new to you, used, maybe scored up, maybe not. Who really knows? But we're going to go through all the maintenance stuff to hopefully get this thing running today. Welcome to Man Time. Alright, well, yeah, I guess you don't really need to see my face. That's not the important thing. The important thing is right here, isn't it? I'll get you in a little bit closer here as we go. But just want to talk a little bit, if you're new to the channel and just tuning in. I had a video about a year back where I discussed how to identify a clone Stihl chainsaw. I got scammed and bought a Stihl chainsaw off of eBay. Turned out it was a clone saw, and I went through all the things to kind of look for to make sure you aren't getting a clone saw, you know, when you go and buy your Stihl chainsaw. But what I'm going to do, this thing is all dirty, like dirt inside where the clean air is supposed to be. First thing I'm going to do is just basically take all of the stuff off of it that can allow me to see the cylinder, which is going to be this top cover and the spark plug and the muffler cover, and then blow everything off with compressed air. And I will bring you right in close on the bench here once we get to that point. But it's pretty simple. I mean, you know, not a whole lot to this type of thing. If you don't have one of these tools from Stihl, the Stihl Scrunch 2-in-1 wrench, make sure to get one of those. But yeah, T27, you're going to be taking everything apart. And if you aren't using power tools by now, what are you doing? Okay, so here we are after an hour's cleaning. You can see I've taken the muffler off, taken the recoil cover off, taken the side plate off. The sprocket is garbage, and I need to take that off. Also taking this back cover off, of course taking the top cover off. Took the spark plug out, and then, you know, of course put it back in there while I was blowing everything out and stuff. But what you want to do is just look down in there, rotate the piston around, check the cylinder wall on the exhaust side, and especially kind of like on this corner up here. That's going to be the farthest away from the blowing air. But yeah, everything actually looks really good. The piston does not appear to be scored and still has machine marks on it. Saws like this around here are not going to get a whole lot of use. They just aren't. Like, there's no logging, there's no kind of, there's, of course, tree services, and that's probably what this was. Most of the tree services around here are going to have their bigger saw, you know, that they bring out on occasion, but lugging a 660 around is not that fun. Did notice I've got an AV mount right here that has split, so I'm going to have to try to find a set of those. But yeah, everything looks there. Yeah, let me get this off and see what do we got going on behind here before I go to start it. Muffler, you know, one thing you can do, of course, with the muffler is take this baffle out. And this one did have, I think somebody said that Stihl actually produced this as a dual port, you know, muffler cover. And I don't see Stihl on it anywhere. Of course, this says Stihl on it. And it does have the, you know, serial number. If you didn't go back and check out my other video where I show, you know, how to spot a fake Stihl chainsaw. This one has the dot peening and serial number there. But yeah, everything looks good. Piston looks good. It is a Stihl cylinder. You can just make out Stihl right here on this side of the cylinder. All of this stuff is original Stihl stuff. So it does look like I got a good Stihl chainsaw. The carburetor is a Walbro carburetor. It says Walbro just along the front on the bottom there. So at this point, I think it looks pretty good. I would like to remove that baffle. You can do a lot of good getting that baffle out of there. Air filter still looks to be in good shape. Blew that all out, of course, and blew everything out. A lot of stuff, you know, coming out of there. But let's get this off of here as a last check, swap this out, and see what's behind there. Yeah, if you're wondering why I'm not just firing the thing up and going, there was a chainsaw that I had that everything appeared to be fine on it, but what actually was going on, I actually did a compression check on it. It was my Stihl 036, and a little gunk in there. Not bad though. No lip on the inside there, or not much of one anyway. Very minor. What do we got here? Uh-oh. What are we missing? That is a missing clutch spring. So there, the reason why you don't want to just go firing these up and taking them to the wood and running them. This one would have not been able to idle with the chain stopped. But, yeah, I mean, yeah, I had hardware missing. That was loose. Don't know if the chain adjuster works or not. How does the chain adjuster work on this one? Right here. That's right. Okay, chain adjuster works. Let's see if we can get a clutch spring on there with it. With that, nah. You know what? I'm going to take this off of there, just because if that clutch spring came apart and, you know, started breaking down, it could have ended up behind there, and it could be doing some damage back there. Let's pop that off. All right, let's see if we can get this popped off. I screwed the plug back in there, so we got a little compression. Yeah, this one's righty-loosey. And it is easier to get that spring back on there, you know, with this off. And give me a chance to kind of look over everything in here. Yeah, no, just dirty. No remnants of a clutch spring that I can see, unless it is completely turned to powder. But yeah, in a situation like this, compressed air and brake clean is going to be your best friend. But yeah, everything looks fine there. I'll get all that blown out. Let's get this on the bench vise and see if we can get a new spring in there. Alright, we'll get you zoomed right in there. I do keep these clutch springs on hand. They are a consumable, and they do go out from time to time. So let's see here. How did I get this the last time? I think you got to kind of come back here and come from this side a little bit. Let's see here. It was from the top like this. Oh boy. Yeah. Always fun. Now the vise is loose. Nope, the vise was not loose. That's just not... This is a little bit of a rough task here. Oh, got it. Yes. Okay, and then what we're going to do is actually go through that again with these other ones here. If you've got, you know, one coming off of there, you definitely want to double check the other ones. And what you're going to see is wear on the inside of the spring. Well, this one actually appears to be in pretty good shape. Man. Yeah, I mean, there's a minimal amount of wear. You can see it there. minimal amount of wear, the shiny, you know, metal inside of there. But we'll go ahead and replace it. Like I said, I've got a set of them here. Probably just want to go ahead and do that, you know, but in a pinch, probably keep that old one around. That's getting easier. These Stihl clutches are not as good as the comparable Husqvarna clutches. Specifically the C clip or C spring design, where it kind of clips. It's just a better design. These springs wear out, and they don't give you as much force as the C-clip designed ones from Husqvarna. I have a lot of times a lot more trouble getting a Stihl idled down to where the chain quits spinning. So there we go, all new springs. All right, we're looking pretty good. Let's see here. Yeah, clutch sprayed off with brake clean, sprayed off with air, cleaned back up, and ready to be installed. I've got that washer back down on there. That looks like it has the concave facing up. Got it all cleaned out, sprayed out, of course. Checked the brake band. Brake band looks good. And everything else, oil pump, in there looks good, no damage or anything like that. So, I think we'll be okay to reinstall lefty-tighty. Here I've got the spark plug back in there tightened up to kind of hold it in place. There was one spot there that was blue. I believe that was from, you know, not having the spring and running the saw. So let's get everything back together here. Got some fresh grease on this bearing. There we go. And then I got a new sprocket, 3/8/7, and that, and this E-clip. And I think that does all we need to do for now on here. Next thing is gonna be, let's see, I think I want to get this exhaust back on there. Somebody was actually messing around with this saw because there was no exhaust gasket. I do want to take this baffle out of there, but I don't want to do it right now. What I'm going to do, so I've got a set of step bits, and I'm just going to take and drill a couple holes with that step bit. Right. Yeah, I'll freely admit I don't do everything perfect every single time. You know, the right way to do this might be to, of course, let's start with something a little bit smaller here. The right way to do this, of course, would be to take your Dremel and some sort of tool and cut all this out. But it's very difficult. You've got spot welds inside of here, and you've got spot welds up inside of there. And getting a tool in there where you can actually cut it off is difficult. I've done it before. I will probably come back and do it to this one. Eventually, and until that time comes, this is a good secondary solution. This is probably the right place to do this. I don't want to go too far there. Okay, and there is our finished product. Now, and we can see we've just got a nice unrestricted flow from here and then to our dual port outlet. Of course, you got your standard outlet on the side there, and then another one through the front. But one thing for like all of the missing hardware, like one of these little screws was missing. Now I've got this Neotech got this Neotech set, and it's got a lot of stuff in it, but it is missing clutch springs. It does have a set of pawls in there. It's got the retainers, you know, for the mounts. It does have a set of seals for what chainsaw, I don't know. Plug, bar nuts, decomp, and a fuel filter, but a lot of assortment of, like, you know, all of the different stuff you might kind of run into. But you have to cut them down. At least I did for this this shorter one there. All right, let's get this thing back together, huh? First things first, we'll just put the exhaust on there, since that's going to be. You know what? Let's get the flywheel side and recoil hooked back up here. Kind of want this a little bit more stable. All right, got those two started. Got an exhaust gasket on it. Didn't have one to begin with, but it does now. Okay. Now, it did have, again, some mismatched hardware. So, I don't know. I think I want to replace this longer one with a shorter one, because you can swap these and then run a hole in your case. So, yeah, I'm going to check that kit, see if it's got some additional hardware. Yep, looks like that is a standard size. Alright, so now I'm going to kind of work my way back through this way. And nothing too interesting going on here, I don't think. Except, yeah, it just kind of pops on there like that, I think. Sure. And then this goes on here. Yes. And then we've got a couple of screws, nuts here. Okay, and then, yeah, funny thing about Stihl, you got to put the top cover on before the spark plug. So, let's get that going on. I did blow everything out beforehand, but yeah, it's not exceptionally clean, that's for sure. Okay, and then these, yeah, all of these were in there, so that's good. This one had the grommet come out with it. Okay, that one is stripped out. That's to be expected on a saw that I got for this cheap. Well, I think we got her all fixed up here, and again, you know, taking everything apart, I'm not going to take off, you know, bolt by bolt going through this process for you. It's pretty simple. T27, 3 bolts here, 4 bolts there, 6 bolts for the muffler and muffler cover. Quick and easy mod to that muffler. Of course, it's already got the dual port on it. Just tightening up some stuff. Again, had to make a screw there, making sure, you know, everything is in place and doing what it's supposed to be doing. So now we will fire it up and see how it is. Again, clean the air filter out. Oh, I did put a new fuel filter and change the fuel out. It had a tag on it saying it was pawned 10 months ago. 10 months ago. So I think the place has like a 9-month policy on it. But this one is, in fact, a Stihl. Again, serial number, Stihl piston, and Stihl tag stickers, everything. That was rubbed away. Yeah, it was actually just listed as Stihl Magnum on the tag with the pawn date. So let's see how we're doing here. We're choked. We got the decomp in. Let's see if it starts. Then we'll tune it and put a tack on it. I was kind of popping it to see if it would go, or you know, maybe it got a little fuel in it, but that's typical Stihl fashion. Ah! Oh, that hurt. This thing has got compression. Let's see here. Yeah, 13. It was at 13.8 at the high. So I adjusted it down a little bit to about 13.5 with about, you know, an eighth and then an eighth. So Rich ended up, seems to be running great. Yeah, pretty good running saw. I don't know if I'm going to leave it stock or not. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I really enjoy the chainsaw porting. I really enjoy just working on chainsaws. I've been building the mezzanine inside of my barn dominium, and it has been it's a lot of hard work, and it is stressful, and there's a lot to get done, and it's really nice to be able just to be driving home on a Friday, stop by the pawn shop, have a 660 sitting there, you know, chained up outside. Yeah, not getting hot. Again, it was very clean. No scoring. Piston was perfect. Man, I don't know what I'm going to do about this one. I don't know if I'm going to port it, or maybe when I'm going to port it. It's going to be pretty tough. The bar was in pretty rough shape. It did come with a bar and chain, and I'm going to do another video on that one. They used a 050 chain on a 063 bar, and it looks like what happened was the chain was kind of slipping around the teeth on the nose, and it chewed those all up, and you know, it's just not in good shape. So with the cost of bars nowadays, a 25-inch steel bar is probably going to run you $100 and something, where a new tip is only like 30 bucks. So man, this thing is just about ready. Yeah, brake works. Seems to be fully functional. So stay tuned for more videos where I'm going to put this thing in the wood and have some fun with it after I get this bar fixed up, or put a different bar on it. I don't typically run 063 gauge thick chains, so I don't even know if I have any of those. But this thing is running awesome. Let's refire here and see how it's doing on the restart. Idle was kind of fluctuating a little bit there. I think that is just a little bit of fine tuning that I still need to do. Yeah, again, Stihl chainsaws are always a little weird with the idle. They always seem like they're going to die. They're on the verge of dying to like keep the chain stopped. Again, we've got brand new clutch springs in there. It shouldn't have any problem, and it doesn't. I mean, I can put my hand on it and it stops just fine. So, all right, man, that is going to do it for today on Man Time. If you like this type of stuff, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, get out there, find you that chainsaw that you've always wanted, and have you some man time too.